How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mando, and we're going to be talking about natural gas, and also I'm going to be talking about some of the fundamentals based on weather, based on consumption, based on production, and towards the end of the video, I'm also going to be talking about some tips and tricks on what I think is useful when you're trading and kind of having that discipline whenever you're making a trade and being consistent about it. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, which is 75% of my viewers, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe, because it's going to help me out a lot and it's going to prompt me to make more videos for everybody else that's out there in YouTube, specifically for those who like to trade natural gas. And I decided to mainly focus on natural gas because if you know what makes a specific equity or commodity tick, it is better than trading that single golden ticker that went up 300%, and you want to catch that 300% ticker, and along the way you might lose your entire account. So if you know how to trade one single ticker, I think it gives you a better opportunity of being profitable more consistently than anything else. So with no further ado, let's get started. So first things first. So what happened? If you guys saw my video last week, or if you've been looking at my tweets, I was saying that most likely natural gas was going to gap up over the weekend because the TDDs were increasing. And I was looking at the TDDs, or total day degrees, which for those who are new and if you're watching the video, that means that's basically how they measure the consumption levels of natural gas based on weather factors only. So this is not based on import, exports, none of that stuff, but based on consumption based on weather, if that makes sense. Anyways, so right around market open, of course I waited probably, at around when natural gas reached above 9%, that's when I sold my calls. It was an excellent call on my part because I saw a potential for a reversal, which I still think that is going to happen. And once natural gas actually hit these levels right over here, we went right above the Fibonacci retracement, which was the 61%. I said, you know what, most likely we are going to reject just because it's too high. And I haven't seen any day whatsoever where natural gas actually pumps on, specifically on the hourly chart, which right now we are in the hourly chart. When it breaks above, or the RSI is overbought, that it would reject. I was expecting a 10% move. One of my members asked why I was getting the 12.5 cost for UNG for this week. This was last week, and I said, well, one of the main reasons is I'm expecting a 10% or more move next week. I was not expecting it to happen right on Monday, but I was expecting a 10% move on natural gas based on what was, kind of setting up for natural gas consumption. So I said I'm expecting a 10% move, and I got my 10%. I did close my positions, and I said, you know what? It's better to reduce at these current levels, right? When natural gas was about, this is the June contracts, by the way, I'm not looking at July, even though I know July is the contract that Ugaz is currently trading. So Ugaz is currently trading July contract. I just like to trade based on the prompt month trading contract. So I saw that it was going above 1.85, 1.847, 1.84, and it was holding. It kind of almost looked like a bullish pennant, which it actually did play it out as a bullish pennant, but then it rejected right away, right? So it kind of looked like this, like it was going to do this. And sure enough, it broke above, and then it rejected very significantly, very heavily. And I think there was a lot of profit taking going on. But something to keep in mind, I am still bullish in the stock. I was expecting, a 1.9 rally. I just, at this moment, I didn't like this big drop. I did back in about 1.75. but I wasn't expecting this big drop to continue to the downside. So my levels of support right now, it's right at EMA 100 and right at EMA 55. So those are my level of support. So most likely by tomorrow, it should be right around this area. This will be my area of support right over here. So that being said, I'm still in at 1.75. I did sold at the high of the day about some Ugaz and other equities that I'm playing off to the side. But one of the main reasons is weather models are still turning bullish. You guys saw me talking about how I thought that the total day degrees were bottoming out. And again, the total day degrees is basically how they measure the consumption levels of natural gas based on weather model. Just wanted to clarify that for those who are watching the video and they're new, which we're going to jump in now into the weather model. So let's go. The weather service that I currently use is HFIR Weather website, which you can find the link on the description down below. So you just go to the description, click on that link, and it's going to take you right here. It's only $150 for the entire year, which I find it very, very in my opinion, cheap, because I used to pay over $1,000 a month on weather models. And for what I'm using it, I'm just using weather models as a tool, as an additional tool on top of everything else that I have. That's going to help me make better trades, better decisions. So just go to the description, click on the link. Anyways, so by the way, they're coming out with this ECMWF service as well. So I'm very, very excited that that's going to happen pretty soon. And once that does, I'm all over, because I think it's going to be $600 for the entire year, or you can pay monthly, however you want, but $600 for the entire year, and it includes the EFS ensemble, ECMWF ensembles, but also you have the long range, which is, it looks further out. I think it's 45 days or 35 to 45 days out, which is great. You're gonna have a little bit more advantage over other traders once you start seeing the ECMWF, because that's gonna give you a better sight of what might happen. But remember, weather models are very volatile. We can have very cold front coming in 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden that cold front became an 80-degree week later on, because as time gets closer, the models tend to be a little bit more accurate. And I'm going to show you something and what I mean. So again, if you guys watching my last videos, I did show the GFS ensemble weather model, how we was bottoming out, and we were actually a little bit both of the dips. So this dip right over here and this one right over here, almost both of them were below the 30-year average. So we were below the 30-year average on both of the dips. Now we're no longer below the 30-year average on the first dip, and on the second one we are just a little bit, but we actually recover a ton of TDDs, in my opinion, which is a good sign. It means that the total day degrees are starting to kind of push higher, and that's something I'm looking at is more TDDs based on cooling day degrees. So I want to see more energy being produced with natural gas, of course, because the hotter it gets, the more natural gas power burn companies are going to use in order to supply, to meet demand for industries, for homes, for whatever uses natural gas in the summer. And again, I was talking about how Texas actually is the biggest consumer of natural gas. You would think, it never snows in Texas, but it's very, very hot in the summer, so they use a lot of natural gas for producing electricity and consuming it. Now, again, we're looking at the 1 to 5 day. 1 to 5 day, it actually looks, for me, it's still neutral. It doesn't look very, very bullish, but I did see a little bit of orange starting to come in on the 1 to 5 day, which was in the previous reports. A little bit more orange, and I call it orange. I'm not going to be scientifically correct, because I know the darker it gets, the hotter it is. So I want to see a lot more darker colors coming in into the United States, like throughout the United States, specifically right here in Texas. Also the Northeast, because it's a highly populated areas on the Northeast of the United States. It's where I want to see the heat coming in. Then 10 to 15 day, yeah, that's actually pretty bullish for me. Then on the top we got the North America ongoing model, and on the bottom we got the Northern Hemisphere, which I use a lot for winter, especially for polar vortexes. But it actually gives me a good overall idea of what might be happening, what is going on around the world that might be affecting natural gas. Yes, natural gas pricing is mainly focused on United States consumption, but what I'm thinking behind my mind is if in other countries it's getting very, very, very hot and they need to import more LNG, we export a lot of LNG now. Before we used to not export as much, but now we are exporting as much as we can. So more exports means higher prices, higher demand, and lower supply. So that being said, what is my plan? What am I looking for? It's better for me to kind of let you know what are the signs that I'm looking for. One of them is, like I've been saying, industrial activity increasing. So a lot of more states are going to be releasing the lockdown policies for the people to go back to work, for the industries to, go back online. So I'm looking for that to actually start increasing the demand of natural gas. Number two is weather models. Yes, weather models are turning bullish, but some of the things that you gotta be kind of careful is that weather models can change on the flip of a dime. So if it doesn't go your way, like I've been preaching to everybody in our group, or everybody that's a member, I've been saying, if it doesn't go your way, always have a stop loss. I saw people holding probably from 25 down to $16 in Ugaz because they don't want to sell. They don't want to take a loss. But a lot of times taking a loss is much better, because let's say if they would have taken a loss when it was 24 and they waited all the way down when it was, back down to $15, $16 on Ugaz. That would have saved so much money, or even you could have rolled the gas, but I prefer to buy the dips and actually share those ideas when it happens. Like today, we had 11% rally. I told my members what I was going to do, and what I think it was going to happen is that we were not going to be holding those 11% gain on natural gas, and most likely we're going to have a nice pullback. I was thinking around 1.78 area, but actually we went all the way down to about 1.75 for June contract, and a lot did actually sold their positions, not because of what I said, but because they actually saw the technicals and history and all that. But just a reminder that it's better, in my opinion, it's better to have a stop loss than not having any at all. Because one person, it was a savvy trader, he told me, we tend to marry a position when it's a losing position versus, when it's a winning position, we tend to get rid of it as soon as we make some profit, right? So we tend to hold longer the losing positions than we are to hold the winning positions. Winning position, most of the time, a lot of people, they cut profits, which is not bad, but you got to stick to your plan. You cannot just, hold your losses forever and hold your profits for 1 day or 2 days. If you're going to do it the same both ways. That's how I trade. So if I'm going to hold, like, for example, you guys, and it doesn't go my way, I have a stop loss, cut my losses, and I wait and reassess, and, that's how it is. If I have winnings and I have my 5 to 6% win, and I missed out on another, 20% gain, it was in my plan. That was my plan from the beginning. I stuck with it, and it's actually making me a little bit more successful because I'm sticking to the plan. I'm not having FOMO, fear of missing out. So, quick recap. I am long natural gas. I expect still to hit above 1.9 on June contract, and I'll be reassessing every single day what I think is going to happen. So if you are not following me in Stock Tweets on Twitter or in my Discord group, make sure you go to the description down below. You can check out all the links that I use, all the services that I use, and also all the places where, all the social media where I am. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next video.